Baci Sospesi, un progetto di Barbara Sbrocca.
I grew up where, romanticize of fairy tales where Prince Charming sweeps the princess off the feet and you fall madly in love, and it's get into real life and hopes and dreams, and you just have this naivety that that's what love is supposed to be, and that's just the complete opposite of what actually happens. I just remember I was in an apartment. Me and my current significant other had been dating for all of 3 days. And I was sitting there and I was in my sweatpants, no makeup, messy hair, and I was eating like the most disgusting junk food. It was like potato chips with onion dip. Like, just completely being myself. And I just looked over at him and he's just sitting there. I don't know how long he was sitting in the room, like watching. I had headphones in. I was doing just in my own zone. And I look over and he's just sitting there, just being himself, sharing space. And I'm just like, I trust you in this most open moment. I don't have to worry about hiding myself or putting on a face or anything like that. And it's like, okay. It's not a lust or that butterflies in the stomach. It's like, I trust you just being there. You're in my personal bubble. Me and my now husband, 10 years ago, moved in 2 weeks after knowing each other. Yeah, we've been together for 10 years. It was just that I feel comfortable with you being in my bubble. So as far as like a click in my love life, all those butterflies and the euphoria and them taking up space in your mind, that happened too, but it was the significant trust. We've shared even like depression and mental health issues and losing family members and now global pandemic and war, and it's just, if I have raw, undeniable emotions, he's going to be in my space and I feel comfortable with him there. Even at worst weird moments, be like, you're beautiful. Before that, dating in general, I always kept people at a distance. I've gone through abandonment issues, and so I'd always pretend that everything's perfect or that I was happy, and if anyone has ever suffered with depression or self-confidence or anything like that, sometimes you don't want people to see that side of it. You want to make sure that they think that you're this perfect person or that you don't have any flaws or limit the amount of flaws that they see. If I was going to hang out with a person that I was dating, it was about what we were doing on that date, and I was playing almost a character, the best side of myself, and then I would go home, rub off the makeup, put my hair in a ponytail or a bun, and I would sit in my bedroom and watch really bad TV, and I would like cry and like eat all the junk food and do all that stuff, and then realizing that I didn't have to be that way for someone to actually love me was a very nice awakening. Have more self-confidence and like love myself. Like that, I guess, true trust. I don't know why I'm crying. But but yeah. The biggest surprise over the past 10 years, I guess, about myself was how resilient I am. You know, I have been the one that takes care of everyone else, and that I can take on other people's emotional baggage and help them through it. But I can also do that for myself. So when things get hard or I get knocked down or anything like that, I have a freaking amazing support system that I've built around myself. I feel better and I have the confidence, and I know that I have, you know, you have your person, you find your person. My husband is the most amazing person I've ever met, because he'll ask himself, what can I do to actually make it better, or talk about it, or bring up communication. He's not afraid to be wrong, and he's willing to work on his own flaws or characteristics. And like, okay, we're having fights, things are frustrating, and he just stopped and looked at me and was just like, I'm not listening to you, am I? And we just chatted about it, and he's like, I'll do better. And he has. It's opened up a whole conversation. Like, you know, people in your life, and you tell them a problem, they want to fix it for you. Well, I don't want things to be fixed for me. I want support systems so I can fix them myself. It's not always been like that he's grown over the years, in the past 10 years, to get to that point. And now that we're there, it's the most like special transformation ever, because now we have that communication. I was very negative in my, like, if I get angry, I'd be very accusatory, right? Like, now it's like, okay, how can I make your day better? Like, what can I do to help bring some positivity and light into your day? And then when we do fight, it's, okay, I feel frustrated because this is what I'm feeling. You know, it's that communication piece. This is my reality. What's your reality in this situation? And then we kind of adapted this habit of, based off of a psychology paper that I read, that during really heated arguments, just a small touch, like holding hands or like a hug, can transform the mood. Like, it will release tension because it hits your sympathetic. I didn't want to go that far, because sometimes when you're angry, you just want to be angry. So we call it tinger, where we touch our, like, if one of us calls it, like, we've made a promise to each other, you always have to do it. So you literally just stick out your index finger, tinger, and the other person has to do it. So no matter how mad you're angry at each other, you have to, something that, you know, connect with. And I didn't really realize, like, people were paying attention, especially my family, because we would be at a family gathering or something and we'd just get mad, and my husband would throw that out there. So I'd like frustrated, and he'd like tinger, and I'm like, really, now? And I'd do it in front of him, like, okay, love you, you know, because we're talking about this later. This is not over, but we're okay right now, like, right? My sister started having kids, and they actually taught my nieces that doing the ting, they still call it tinger. It's so dumb, so silly. But tinger means I love you. So like, my niece, when she couldn't even talk, would come over to you and just stick her finger out, and you would touch your finger, and that's just, I love you. And it's still to this day. And my nephew's the same way. My brother and my sister-in-law taught it to their kids. You know, my nephew's 7, he's a boy, so he doesn't say I love you. But like, when he'll be leaving the house, he'll just stick his finger over, like, small blessings. that come from small actions, I guess, or big emotions that come from small actions. Well, sometimes I like to argue. I'm Irish. It's a valid emotion. Some things just make you mad, but you never want to actually like leave that as the last emotion on the table. You always need to come back to like compassion and empathy and connection and really just I didn't have parents who were together, so I didn't see that type of relationship. I saw friends and I saw family members and everything else. You know, it was that type of love. But in like a romantic love, sadly, my influences were rom-com movies, like romantic comedies, where it's big emotions, you know, lust over love, and that's supposed to be the euphoric falling in love feeling. And then there's huge fights or just drama that you have to keep with in a relationship to even keep them interested. And that's a very naive and childish way of thinking of what love is. So when I finally had this different type of communication develop and this trust and connection in that, it's not euphoric. I don't want the drama. Like, I feel better in this relationship with the person that, you know, we go and have adventures and we go and talk about those big feelings, having a connection outside of that type thing. It made me grow up a lot. It takes work to stay there, right? Like, people grow and change. And so when you find that unique balance of my raw emotions are here and they're mixing with your raw emotions and you can just be yourself, I can be myself. That's where having that open communication really is important. And both people have to work at it. It's not just going to stay the same if you stay stagnant. Nobody talks about that's the moment that you're going to realize that you fall in love. I'm like, well, I knew, but I also like had chipscrumbs in my lap and we weren't touching. Prince Charming was sitting on the couch just, you know, probably playing video games. I don't even remember what he was doing. I just remember like looking down and I'm like, whew, okay, you're my person now. That was it.
Baci Sospesi, un progetto di Barbara Sbrocca.
For Valentine's Day, my husband, he's like, I didn't just get you one cake, I got you 16 tiny bundt cakes. They're called buntinis. And he just laughs. He's like, I got you martinis, but cakes, and they're called buntinis. Do you get it? Like, he was just so excited about the pun. I was like, this is the best Valentine's Day ever. Because, yes, these are perfect. Even though I said that I didn't want sweets, you made a pun out of my present, and I love it. Sold. This is why I married you.